gonna get started off on Skyscraper.
You gotta love the noise from the crowd. To start us off here, a lot of fans for Astralis sitting on the right-hand side of the room, but Oxygen, I'm sure you're just as loud. And we're starting off with some interesting stuff. This is what you want to see when it comes to a semifinals of Rainbow Six. Finka banned out, no longer having an LMG, no more adrenal surges, no more frag grenades. So many things she does nowadays, and we're not going to have to deal with any of it.
We obviously saw the massive impact that could be made for that operator on Iconic yesterday, so banning her out makes perfect sense, not only for meta reasons, but in terms of a comfort pick for Astralis as well. Thermite going to be removed by them in the meanwhile here, removing the more straightforward hard breach from the table and following it up with the more expected ban, I would say, as they take Valkyrie out of play. She's been the pick of the litter on these more wide open maps, especially the ones with a lot of prop clutter like this one too, where you can hide those cameras inside of them, so just don't want to take the risk on that. And then finally Mira to round us out.
I think there's a really strong ban from Oxygen for the defensive end. We saw just how strong Astralis' setups were yesterday on Skyscraper with Mira, so now that they're not going to have her for all of those cross-sections across the map, it should be fairly straightforward how Oxygen want to break things down, but obviously Astralis could have some strategy that they want to try and implement when they get to that side of the coin. But speaking of which, they're going to be starting things off on offense. If that wasn't already a given, Oxygen will be on defense, and they're going to be headed towards Karaoke and T-Rim.
So no surprises on the site pick either, as they'll be starting off pretty much exactly where we expect them to go. Bandit will be in play here, at least initially, and we won't see that picked away either. Relaxing as they lock themselves into the rounds, going to try and deny some of that presence, especially from the back end, coming from the Temple side. Do not want to be dealing with that extra presence there, so if they can block it out, especially with no Thatcher seemingly in play here for the attackers at this point, it'll be all the better. But we still have ways to deal with it, namely with what Iconic is going to bring to the table here. As he switches away from the Nook and Operator, we saw quite a bit from an Astralis yesterday, and instead we'll bring the Flores to clear out some of that utility.
Man, I don't know how people like popcorn. There's just so many kernels, and like you just can't talk.
Pretty sure that was like unflavored popcorn.
It was smart pop because Jesse, I don't know what he's doing, you know, like he was just like, hey, take this popcorn. I was like, I mean, I guess. But past that, just about a couple of seconds here into this first round. I'm going to be starting things off on the far side of the building from where Oxygen is currently. But as we'd seen yesterday and a couple other Skyscrapers, a lot of teams starting to focus on holding down the entire building and trying to force the offense to take map control away. That works extremely well in Siege given the timer and how you can delay on utility.
Slow start though for Astralis as they begin to work their way in. Thatcher does end up getting swapped into this lineup, but a whole lot of extra utility too, as you guys on the right side of your screen has probably noticed already. Jay and I know specifically bringing the Ying to bear here. On top of that, Forrest will once again bring out big shielded operator on the attacking side. Then on top of that, we'll even have Osa providing secondary shields for this assault inside of the double rooms as well. So quite a bit for Oxygen to deal with in terms of response, and unfortunately, they have 0 impacts and no nitros either. So getting rid of this is going to be quite cumbersome, actually.
Yes, indeed. And since Force doesn't exactly have a weapon right now, they're going to have to try and find a way to circumnavigate a lot of this utility from Oxygen and attempt to find some safe pasture for him. But as soon as they get him on the horizontal, things should be a-okay. And it seems like they've accomplished that. They got in control of at least the outside shrine balcony. Just need somebody to get the door. And we saw how this broke down yesterday when they tried to slide that Osa shield right to the top of Black Stairs and ended up getting blown up from the nitro cell inside of T. So might want to go about this in a little bit of a different fashion than they did the last time. DP Fire, not going to have anything to deal with the shield on the inside at the current moment. So as of now, Astralis is going to be holding things down around this stairwell.
DP Fire keeping his head on a swivel just to make sure that Oxygen don't get up to any dirty tricks here. We know that they're somewhat known for that, playing in much more aggressively when the opportunity arises for them. And even better, we know that Oxygen has got the read on Astralis, and the reverse of that also being true. These teams are going to be a little careful about the way they dance around each other for the first round or so. Dream, of course, catching the cross now, and the Osa as well moving in. One shot finally connecting there on the M59, but now they got them trapped in a corner. The Toxic Babe going to begin to burn out DP Fire's HP. Not going to be able to maintain from it. Has to fall very far back here, and still barely has any HP left on the Osa. Another plume spreads. That's going to force Forrest out of position. DP Fire seems to be safe, and Forrest only eats up 2 ticks this time. The back end of Karaoke is not going to breach far enough, but a 1-to-1 exchange is how we'll start this off. Nurse and Jane, I know, will take each other's lives and bring us into a 4v4.
This has been such an awkward round so far for Forrest and DP Fires. They've been stuck at the top of Black Stairs for a while, but now the plant's going down. Iconic has the cross here from Karaoke, and he's going to burst through Geisha. Looks for the player inside of Drum. That's going to skimp her off. That's going to be laxing here. Fox A and Vertical, though, they have to have an answer for this. Looks like the Monty wants to lock up the hallway for the time. Foxay has potential here, but DP Fire to take him down. This OSA shield setup, it's too strong. Oxygen try and stave off this round with smokes, but it seems as though Astralis, rather, wants all of it.
Showing you the strength once again of attacker repick here. Right off the bat, immediately Astralis bringing a massive number of shields as soon as they catch the fact that Oxygen do not have the proper utility to deal with it. And it's something that Oxygen really should have seen. It's an incredibly similar lineup that we saw out of Astralis just yesterday when they played this very same map. So it shouldn't have really been a surprise to our defenders here, but apparently it was. And they did not have the appropriate amount of utility to deal with it. Attempted to do so with those toxic babes, but far too much room to work with and not nearly enough resistance from the defense.
We got the chance going and everything in the crowd now. How are you guys feeling? Love to hear. That's only one round in, too. I mean, we still got a long time in between these two, because I'm telling you, this is more than likely going all three. That Oregon especially is going to be quite the spicy meatball, let me tell you. But we got to get through Skyscraper first, and as we've seen, this map has been quite action-packed. I don't know about you, John, but I've been really enjoying watching it the more and more that we've gotten into it. When they first implemented it again, I was like, I don't know about this. It is Skyscraper, but it's been a really, really good time. A lot of teams showing just what this map is capable of.
We're going to have an interesting roaming setup by Oxygen downstairs too, over towards the front lobby side, because obviously we'll be playing into this site. Not a site we've seen teams really try out too much here downstairs inside of the bedroom. They've mainly been focusing on the upstairs holds as well as barbecue on the other side of the map. So this will be a little bit of unfamiliar territory for Astralis, as at least in yesterday's game, they never once had to defend or attack this site.
Yes, indeed. And now Newer's looking for a peek, but won't be able to find anything just yet. Astralis instead choosing the safer greens outside just to make sure that they don't get punished. They're going to stack up on the northeast side as of now, but more than likely want to try and stick to their guns like they did the last time. Just get the info in and see exactly where potentially these Oxygen members could be. Lots of shield play the last time around, but obviously this time not so much. No Osa, no Monty, just pure fragging potential from the Astralis lineup.
Jano continues to patiently wait for his first opportunity to grab a member of Oxygen should they pass by, but none of that going to be gifted over to either team here. Just the first bits of utility being utilized to open things up. We got a Twitch drone lurking around too. It's going to knock out, I believe, at least one Electric Claw. Foxay still keeping one in pocket, so should be able to re-electrify that wall, but he wants to wait and see where the breach is going to come from for a shuttle. As you can see, now working on opening up the upstairs double wall. We'll see that go in, and with this EMP going off, that should be enough room here for that to work out. And yes, it looks like it just got off in time, so they were going to be able to breach that opening.
Very fortunate for Astralis, and it makes it really, really difficult to try and compete with the secondary set of Skyros pellets that are going on now. Potentially have something like an Impact or something along those lines come out, but obviously Astralis, or rather Oxygen, lacking in that department at the current moment. Fidel out for Astralis, speaking of which, though, as for his first one will get eaten up. Looking for a secondary, though, see if he wants to try and push in after Vertical gets blinded, but no, it's going to be a faux push here. He's going to throw a drone up top to try and assist Iconic, who's looking to try and hop inside of Terrace, and he will do so successfully. Doesn't bump the Prisma either. Finds a good location. If this drone is able to walk him in, there's a big potential here. He's gonna be able to sneak in and find some kills. He's gonna get the first one. Doubles back now. This F2's so strong, and that's the second one. Slam a new magazine, Iconic. There's more bodies to grab for Astralis.
There was a bump in the road. I'm pretty sure Jane, I know, ended up going down to a frostbat on his initial entry, so he's still sitting on the ground and has been for some time. So in reality, we are in an even game right now. Down to a 3v3 because there's no Fink Adrenal Surge Resist to come in. Forrest will make up the difference, though, on his entry. Takes down Newers and leaves just Foxay and Vert in this fight for Oxygen as they try to claim their first round. Jane, I know, will be retrieved as well, so he will stay in the engagement, albeit at very low HP. And now Iconic looks for the insertion to find the first of the two remaining kills. There it is. He gets a personal third on the round. Vertical is all that's left. This is also one of the most impactful members of Oxygen, making up the biggest difference on this team in these clutch moments. But a 1v4 might just be asking a little too much here. He'll venture forward, try to pick up Iconic, but he's too strong. Iconic gets a quad on the round, and Astralis gets a second overall.
It's a quad for the king, and it's 2 rounds in a row for Astralis, making it look easy so far. Up against OXG, they had a very solid answer to the shield play the last round, but unluckily enough for them, they just couldn't get it when it came to the plant for Astralis. They had too many members trained on karaoke at the time, but this time around, it was a simple drone in from Terrace, 2 quick kills for Iconic, and they set up the round for success right off rip.
Beautiful stuff from Astralis, making up the difference, even in unfamiliar territory, attacking that site for the first time at this event. Oxygen, though, have hit a massive wall, it seems here, are not able to figure out how to control things, whether it's the mid or early round. Whenever Astralis strike in, they're striking true, and they're not making many mistakes along the way here. The utility usage is pristine, and Oxygen are just not responding to it appropriately enough in order to fend it off and bring us down to a null-timer where Astralis are going to have to force their way into a site, or even better, just pick up the kills and prevent Astralis from having the manpower to get themselves in there to begin with. They'll return to the upstairs hold on the double rooms, or we'll see if they can have better luck on a second go-around.
It's been calculated strikes so far from Astralis that have boded so very well for them, and more than likely will continue to do so unless Oxygen has something to say about it. This time around, they're going to be adding some more traps to the mix. As Fox will be bringing Legion, they still have the delay of Dream as well. Bandits working in from Lacton, and the big piece here, Newers on the Warden, because DP Fire has been bringing that Ying.
So Astralis out on the board. See, a very cautious approach will be made for them, as we've been seeing already in the past 2 rounds. Big emphasis on the drone game, which is actually a pretty decent departure from what we were used to seeing from Astralis. A bit more gung-ho behavior inside of the NAL season. But coming into this event, they look way more trained out. We can see, though, already at the beginning of this round, heavy costs to that usage of the drones, as they're already down to just 6 out of the 10 they started with here. So we're going to have to make sure that they save quite a few of those for this late clear here, especially if Oxygen is going to remain mobile. Dream will get in the way of the initial push that Forest, and in the previous round, DP Fire had gone for. So that will force Forest out after he initially tries to brute force it and take this control away from Dream.
Already draining out these smokes, a smart strategy if they'll just gift them over early on, but it is really up to Dream and his decision making here. Do you want to keep applying these in? Okay, you do. So Force is just going to keep doing this back and forth until Dream no longer has smokes, and then they'll try and figure out exactly what they want to do with that deployable shield. They have EMPs across the map, so that's really not going to assist him in his current status, as there's a couple of ADSs actually holding onto that shield from the door. But past that, though, J90 and obviously the remaining members of Astralis looking to gather some Geisha control, but also need to drone some things out on the other end of the map and see potentially where these Oxygen members lie. More smoke damage coming in from Forest here, as the last smoke from Dream will finally be utilized, and DP Fire looking to hop in top of Shrine Window.
Attackers have located a bomb.
Trying to get himself forward here. Laxing seems to be somewhat ready for the challenge. He's heard the breach and is in the correct position to do so, but oh, not even the same player that pushes him. He gets a bit surprised by it, but still the pre-fire works just as well. Finding Iconic, only that damage going on to him as a result for the trade there. Nurse taking a little bit as well, both him as well as Laxing going down to about 50 HP, but Forrest is able to push himself forward, get behind on the Montane, and actually knock Dream out on the smoke from behind that position behind the shield.
Something you don't see every day, but now trades happening back as forth as Newers will be able to save Laxing from that situation. But Astralis once again pull ahead, and this is what we saw yesterday. Time and time again up against XSET, they'd be able to equalize their man count, but then they immediately jolt ahead yet again. Oh, luckily enough though, they'll be able to stop the plant with that Nitro Cell. Newers, if you're gonna clutch, you got to do it now. It's a 1 versus 2, 26 seconds remaining. J90 constantly finicking with the plant. He's going to be stopped again, but no! The MPX doesn't do enough damage as he tags him in the legs, and he won't even die. The AK-12 takes down Newers as he trusts his gun too much.
It's a fatal misread from Newers. Thought he had enough damage going in order to make impact to take down the secondary planter, but no. Gives that player the opportunity to spin back around, and a 3rd consecutive round will go up onto the board for Astralis. And we'll also enter a tactical pause. It's time for Oxygen to figure out what the heck is going on in these rounds. Why can't we control anything? Why aren't we making any progress here? Why aren't we just slowing these guys down to any serious degree? They're going to fall back on their coach to get that information.
Super, super unfortunate for Newers there. You can see how disappointed he was in that. He's like, why is this guy not dead? I just shot you like 10 times in the back. But, I mean, it's all about, you know, limb dependency when it comes to a lot of these rounds. Your damage model is completely different depending on where you hit somebody. And unfortunately enough for him, just not enough rounds in order to achieve that. So, tactical timeout now for Oxygen, as Redeemer has some things to say, and he probably has a lot to say, honestly. It's already a quick 3-0 for, Astralis in this situation.
Astralis continue to make a massive impact at the outset of this game here. They're going to throw a few curveballs in this operator select. We'll have to see how many actually stick around inside of the action phase. We'll be finding out pretty soon here. As you guys will notice for Forest, that'll be the most interesting one here. The Glaz has been soft-locked by him, although everyone else except for Shuttle has already repicked into a new operator. We can see Flores will come in to support the utility clear. Never mind, that'll go back to a Twitch. Shuttle will take up that mantle instead here. They don't feel the need for a sledge. And then as well, Lion will be brought in for DP Fire.
They're just going to keep twisting it. Every time you mention something, John's like, yeah, no glass. We don't want that. Get rid of all of it. I really do like this lineup, though, that they're bringing. The Thatcher and Ace will be able to work really well together. You have the Ying for the execute utility, also DP Fire to mess with any roamers or any site presence that they actually have to play through. Also, you have the Flores at the end of the day to be able to help with those Rotero drones, so they can simply get rid of any deployable shields or anything along those lines. So fairly straightforward in what they want for this lineup, but let's see if it's a little bit harder to achieve now that Oxygen have gotten done with their tactical timeout.
We're waiting to see if a spawn peak will potentially line up for him here outside of the window, but more than likely not, judging from our silhouettes here. First Rotero drone going to be denied as well here due to the forward position from Newers. Be able to get out of the way of that one, knock it away, and with at least a quarter of J9O's utility. Bandit Trick going to come in here, should work out, and there we go. Nice and easy placement for Foxay there that deletes one of the Selmas along with it. So far, Oxygen doing a much better job at negating some of this utility, which was a big issue for them in the previous few rounds. However, look at this. They've already hopped in with the case. They're just flooding the site with Candelas right now, and Newer's making impact. Trades out the first player, but the case is down. They've secured it. Planter will be taken out on the way out, but he pops off an EU1D before going down. Dream as well, after finding DP Fires, also got J9O in a dead state. So Oxygen have the edge, but for how long can they keep it? Shuttle as well, forced away from the diffuser now as the smoke blooms out next to him here. And in addition to that, Laxic finds a beautiful shot against Forrest on the cross to take him down. One more from Foxay. It seems that Astralis were a bit too bold here as Shuttle tries his heart out to battle back and stop the counter defuse, but it's not going to be enough. Finally, Oxygen pick up a round.
Oxygen fighting back after Astralis decided to rush into kitchen, but it was ill-advised. It looked really, really risky as well with Fox's position upstairs, just staring down through the floorboards. Really, really difficult for them to try and deal with him at that current moment, but that wasn't even the biggest problem. You have Laxing running through everybody, trying to hold down that case as well on the horizontal, that first floor. So Oxygen finally able to get around on this defensive end. They're looking to run it up even more before Astralis switches over to offense. They got 2 rounds, and hopefully they're capable.
Astralis, their first little bump in the road here has been hit, and Oxygen do feel the confidence to go back to the T-room for a 3rd time already, even though we are already only 5 rounds deep. Normally at most you're going to see teams play that same site only about 2 times, but this one is pretty heavily weighted towards the defenders in most circumstances. So Oxygen feel that they have the capability to really lock this one down. We'll have to see if that is going to be the case from Astralis. They've already got a few repicks coming into a line with that, but they're not going to bring the same layout as they have been for the last few attacks against this site. It is a little bit of a different philosophy coming in, as we've got Iconic sneaking around on the Nook, and DP Fire still wanting to stick with the Lion play here.
We'll see if the sneaky play works out this time. Past that, though, a fairly straightforward setup, especially with Shuttle going to be on Sledge. This is his bread and butter op for a lot of maps. So for Oxygen, though, I mean, the big thing here has got to be the Oryx that they're bringing in. Foxay has a lot of potential for his roam game here. J9O apparently worried about somebody jumping out of a window, and I mean, you really should be. You really never know what's going to happen with either one of these squads when they play defense. Somebody might just get risky and feel as though the pick is worth it, but he just wants to make sure that's not going to happen to him. Instead, he's going to break out the window at the bottom of Black Stairs and start working on the karaoke window as well, just make himself some new angles and hold on to this end of the building for a while. That seems to be Astralis' main game plan whenever it comes into the early round, to start setting up angles and see if any of the Oxygen members are willing to try and challenge past what we saw in that last round with the Rush.
Astralis will send off their first EE1D charge from DP Fire, but not a whole lot of intel gathered from it. Oxygen stay completely solid and avoid being tagged up by the drone floating overhead the map right now. Rest of Astralis, though, still getting to a point where they feel the confidence to at least begin to move in, clearing out areas like Geisha, and using that as a staging ground, which, like we said before, is a break from the strategy they've been using for the previous 2 attacks here. Oxygen have the counters set up for it, but once again, this is where it's been a bit of a roll of the dice for Oxygen and their capability to actually make impact and stop the play from Astralis. And in the last round, it became completely irrelevant because Astralis went right for the execute. And as we found out this time, after he shoots out that drone, a good distraction against him. Laxing mid-roam, though, will catch Forest and will be able to exchange that back out, keeping the numbers even in a 4v4. Iconic trying to sneak up, but he's been spotted by a member inside of T-Room. It's a good thing in hindsight that he does get spotted by it. The nade set up. Oh no, Iconic nearly ends his own life as he has to back down. And thankfully, the nade is just a little too far away to fully take him out.
Iconic's face when that nade bounced back, he was like, oh, that almost killed me. That was real close right there. But fortunately enough, he is indeed still alive, so he'll maintain man count. He's going to the last minute here with a 4 versus 4. Know the position of quite a few of these Oxygen members as well, so they can deliver when it comes to the frag department. But in fact, with the actual frags, they're fresh out. Down to the stuns here for all of their secondary utility and time. DP Fire also out of EE1Ds. Shuttle really hasn't even done anything with his sledgehammer. Still has that thing at max capacity. Vertical now looking for a challenge over here on the restaurant stairs. There's going to be a stun out as he'll be full-whited, but no one to challenge. So it'll be Shuttle re-rotating and coming back to the Geisha balcony. Boxay will get down, but so will Iconic, and Laxing will pick him up.
With a good exchange, but unfortunately his time is up. Had to be very mobile to get those kills, and Shuttle is finally able to lock him down. And with Boxay down on the ground, the Astralis have the edge right now. If they're able to keep him there, Shuttle with another one as he's running all over the map right now, finding out the position of Vertical. Dream cannot support Boxay, no way to get him back up. The best hope now is to have Dream deny the plant, but he's out of utility to do so. The SMG-11's aim is true, however, to take down DP Fire on the first assault. The plant goes down, and J90 rushes in to pick up the final kill. It's Astralis back in control at a 4-1 scoreline.
And this is what's so difficult about fighting against Astralis. They never stop making plays. They are always looking for that gap in your defense, that gap in your offense, and they will exploit it every single time. It doesn't matter what the man count is, it doesn't matter what the situation is. They have time and time again been consistent in being able to take it to a multitude of teams, not even from their own region, but internationally here at Charlotte. And they do it yet again up against the second best team. By statistics, inside of the NAL, Oxygen down 3 rounds now as Astralis look to go up 5-1.
Crowd seeming to favor Astralis as well here as they continue to rocket ahead, looking to repeat their results from yesterday against XSET. When XSET chose to play into this map, thinking they would be able to best Astralis on it. When it turned, that turned out not to be true. The same mistake potentially being made today and allowing it to go through. But thankfully for the Oxygen roster, it is our very first map. So they will have the second 2 to rebound on and potentially still keep their playoff hopes and a chance to take down DZ in the grand final alive.
Don't want to call it too early because we haven't seen Astralis' defense again on Skyscraper just yet. But as of right now, they might have the nastiest Skyscraper in the entire world. They are so strong on this map. This offensive side has been dastardly. I'm looking to close it out now. Newers doing his best with those mechanics. Look at how many angles this guy checks a minute, by the way. If we had that statistic, oh, Newers would have it down. And he's got the shot as well. Imagine being that accurate and that fast all at the same damn time, man. You make my head spin.
J90 may have ended the last round, but this round he's going to sit, unfortunately, on the cams for the large majority of it. That's at least half of the hard breach utility now gone as well. They still have DP Fire as a backup, so it's not the end of the world just yet. But obviously, utilizing those X-Kairos charges are going to be a little bit more difficult when you consider that Foxy has the capability to just outright deny them. Yours potentially cooking up something here for himself as well. He got the ping from a moment ago.
Swing it.
Saw the shots come in through the alibi clones. He's ready to take this challenge, but it doesn't seem he has the appropriate amount of information about where this player's at specifically. And now Twitch Drone's going to spot him out. It's no longer a good play. He's got to back away from this.
Oh, man, that makes me so depressed. Sometimes you just want to see somebody go wild, but it's definitely the smarter decision there to hold back and see if any of the Astralis members simply sprint at the doors and gun them down while they're in that animation. And luckily enough for Newers, he will also stave off elimination by swinging outside, because now they've picked up Iconic, and this is starting to look more like a 4-2, but we know how Astralis is in these situations. It doesn't mean they're going to slow down.
Astralis continuing to look for ways to fight back into this round after being denied outright twice in trying to enter the building. J90, their big entry here, Iconic, has gone down already. Oxygen still exercising so much control, even outside of the site too. is leaving them in a bit of a rough patch here for Astralis. Despite that, though, we can see Forrest is going to try to open up a path forward as he throws the first Candela into the bathroom side of the site. No one able to follow through on it. No one having the confidence from Astralis to hop in through the window. Again, Dream has the top down from inside of Exhibition to shut down anyone that would try to hop through that window and play directly towards the site. So again, Astralis just kind of out of moves right now and stuck on their drones while they try to figure out exactly how to proceed forward.
Well, in fact, Forrest has actually rotated all the way to the west side of the map, and he'll be coming through on this end instead. Shuttle gets taken down, make it a 5 versus 1, and make it a 5v0 as Oxygen tie that one up with a bow. We'll be heading to the second half.
So with Oxygen finally rebounding here, giving themselves a much more respectable 2-4 scoreline at the end of the day. Now we're going to see them jump onto the attacking side, where they'll truly be tested here on Skyscraper with an opportunity to maybe bounce back into this game. But it is still going to be a lot of work, especially if Astralis can rebound, as we've been seeing, get themselves in the teeter-totter to go back and forth on rounds. That would be perfectly okay for Astralis, as they still have that very healthy 2-round lead to bank it on.
Now, this has been the side on Skyscraper that Astralis has looked the most devilish. So we'll see if they can continue that here. I'm really excited to see how Oxygen try and deal with this and if they can exploit anything that they've seen. Looks like we might have a potential rehost.
All right, folks, it looks like we are okay. So we're back in game now once again. For anybody who may have just joined us while we were on that break, it's the beginning of the second half, and Astralis is currently leading 4-2. After dropping a few rounds towards the end of the previous half, they're looking a little bit worse for wear. However, on the defensive side, they have the control. They have the capability to control the pacing now from this point forward and slow down the initial entries from Oxygen, maybe just remove their capability to get into the site outright. Let's see if they can get it done. Pretty straightforward operator lineup for the defense. The big change up there is going to be the Thorn that's been picked up from J90.
A pretty famous one for Astralis as well, as this is their most used defensive operator in the NAL and the only team to do it in the NAL with Thorn.
Once again, kind of an interesting pick, filling in a role that we haven't seen a whole lot of exploration in so much just as of yet here, but as we actually get back into the action, it's looking like Norris is going to start us off well by taking down DP Fire, giving Oxygen that clean opening kill.
Very well done. Unfortunately enough for Astralis, he is Jaeger and not Wamai, so won't have to deal with the blowback from that and the discs that they will be lacking. Those ADSs will still be around and be able to grab some grenades or anything of the sort that they might have to deal with. Shuttle will still be working his way around KBBQ downstairs, but nothing really going on. Has to move his way out towards Sushi Bar restaurant to his side, and there's quite a bit of presence around this area. Instead, he'll back off towards Sushi. Just hold this for a time. Ventilation staff will actually get air jab here from Lax, and he just wanted to make sure that nobody can push out from under him and potentially shoot him off of this rappel. He's going to hold Terrace here for a moment.
Norris looking to rotate himself around as well, repel himself back up over towards that second floor position and begin to insert himself a little bit more into the play. So Astralis also get ready for this potential action to work their way in. Iconic will be brought down to 50 HP as he is seen at least on a cross by a window, but won't be knocked out just yet here. So far, that's only DP Fire that's been eliminated as Oxygen are taking the nice slow route to clear this out. And you can see both J90 and Iconic are aware of the route that Oxygen are taking, so they're going to try to get in the way of that.
This is what we've seen time and time again from the offensive unit here on Skyscraper. They want to try and compete for this mid-long hallway in the map so that you can potentially get a hold of Drum, have access to Geisha on the left-hand side, those two doors as well, and the central wall for T. It's a really high-traffic area for both squads to try and work their way through, and now it's up to Oxygen to attempt to do this. But this is also the great delay that we saw from Astralis yesterday, this exact position, and it's starting off extremely well again. Some shots out towards Lax, and he's actually going to get tagged, but fortunately enough for him, he'll rip the head off of Iconic.
3 for Astralis now. J90 going to see if he can hide himself in an obscure corner here and go unnoticed as Oxygen clear out the rest of the site for themselves. Shuttle, though, has retreated away from his downstairs roam position. He's going to regroup now. The only other teammate still alive, Forrest, and get themselves back into probably either one of these sites to fend off the eventual push that should be coming in fairly soon from Oxygen. Now that they have the opening, and more importantly, now that the time is getting down to a dangerous point. 24 seconds left here for Oxygen to push their way forward. J90 on alert, will be spotted out. Shuttle fends off the first attempt at aggression here. Forrest trying to put down as well the Osa while she was mid-shield deployment. It's not going to work. Shuttle has to rotate back around to take out Foxe instead here. Still locked into a 2v2 though. J90 pushes it further into Astralis' favor. Everything falls to Laxing. He does have the case control, but he has no time left. Has to put it down on the ground now, and he is able to get to that point. Where's the resistance? Where's the refrag? Here it is from J90 as he shuts down Laxing and gives Astralis the opener on the second half.
Consistently, whenever I see Skyscraper defense from Astralis and we reach that minute mark and everyone's still in that middle hallway like we were talking about, Astralis has won the round every single time, consistently, even when they're down on man count. That is unprecedented, and it's all by the plays that you've seen here, especially from Shuttle, as he runs out the breach right into the hallway, kills one person, drops to the second floor to try and help out J9O, and also, all at the same time, forcing Oxygen into a lack of information situation. They have no idea where any of these members are anymore. They have to try and recoup, and it just doesn't go off without a hitch.
2 more rounds is all Astralis need at this point, and the first map goes to them. Then it's time to focus up and worry about Oregon. Oxygen still looking for a way to turn this game back on its heel. They'll have to do so against a new site here, one that actually didn't really see Oxygen play into. That's going to be the other upstairs hold for Astralis on the opposite side. The map still will be an extension, specifically in areas like Gation Karaoke, for Astralis to play into and waste time for Oxygen's initial clear, but presence will be focused, of course, over on this end, and we're going to see a few operator changes to facilitate that, most notably Iconic bringing back the Warden once again, aside from that Shuttle as well on the Aruni to block off some of these access points with the laser gates.
Well, this might be a little fast. We'll have to see here, because the vertical is indeed going to be on the Gara hook, so we'll see if he can potentially send some things high into the sky here. I don't know if he has a G8 or necessarily what he has as his primary. We'll have to find out here momentarily, but it does appear that he does have that, has the going as a secondary as well, so it should make things fairly straightforward for Amaru. Forrest, though, and the rest of Astralis have things laser gated over inside of the office space. Be holding onto this for a time. Throw Prism outside just to be annoying yet again here and see if somebody wants to try and potentially get rid of it. Oh, Forrest, this is just so rude. So unbelievably rude as he's going to toss out another one, wait for the shot, and Laxing. There's quite a few extra bullets inside of that AK, Forrest. You might want to watch out for that.
So Laxing able to not only best the bait from Forrest, but outright destroy it. Forrest goes down, no damage in response to that either. Beautifully managed by Laxing, as Oxygen now have their entry point in from Terrace, be able to work their way forward.
Stop right now. Is that an Ash with an R4C?
It is an Ash, yes.
Oh my, somebody get me off this desk right now. I can't take it. This is amazing. We're back. Can somebody get a kill, Fox? Do something, please. Please show these people what the R4C can do. Even post-nerf. They're gonna hop inside. They're going quick here. Fox and an operator that he's been known for quite some time, and as he works his way in through bathroom, Vertical can indeed get up this hatch, but you all know that at home. Only issue is that he'll have to go through a full animation in order to do so. Looks like they're gonna try and pull Astralis's aggro somewhere else. Shuttle, as well as the rest of Astralis, await Oxygen here in their next move. A smoke in, but Iconic's good for that, obviously. Stuns in as well. Nobody wanted to make the forward move, and now Vertical's working his way in. This is looking like what we saw from Beast Coast, as the Nitro goes too far. Oxygen, they've got the plant, and yes, it will go down. Iconic stops one, but now it's down to a 3v3, making a 3v2 after Dream picks up Iconic.
Dream has the exhibition window. That's going to be the cross they need to stop these counter defuse attempts. DP fire.
Oh my God.
Support, but no! He can't get the plant. He'll shield down in time. Dream's too fast on the AK. He knocks out DP fire instead. And now J9O, he's alone here. He's going to have to try and hop this in order to get it done. Hasn't even dealt with Laxing these crosses. They're too brutal. I don't know if J9O is going to be able to get this done here on the counter defuse. Nearly halfway there, but one final peek from Dream will lock it in as Oxygen stay alive and keep the fight going.
An incredible round from Oxygen. So much creativity with the Amaru working his way in downstairs. I'm very sad we didn't get to see a little bit more from Foxeye in the R4C situation, but it doesn't matter when you have plays like that from OXG. They're going to shore up this score line to 3-5. They're within 2 and stop Astralis from guaranteeing overtime.
Restoring the halftime advantage now, so both teams winning 1 so far here at the outset of the second. Astralis, though, still in the lead and with a big lead in siege terms in order to push themselves up onto 7 as well. Oxygen cannot breathe a sigh of relief just yet. You probably saw that on their player cams. They're staying focused here. Yeah, that's one, but that's only the traded round for the one they lost at the beginning of the half. Now they need to focus up and lock in this retry from Astralis in order to really get back into this game and stand a chance to win it.
Yes, indeed. But the big issue now is they won't
be able to use the same strat that they just did. That was a one-off. Now Astralis will be ready for that if anybody tries to attempt to come up the hatch. Very unfortunate situation with that Nitro up in that plant as well. It just flew right through the hatch and blew up below them instead. Almost ended up flying into another Oxygen member's lap. Funny enough, that was indeed downstairs still. But besides that point, Astralis is going to be adding some new things to their arsenal as well. The Frost is going to be coming in for DP fire to try and slow some people down around windows or force them into a very critical decision. You either die to the Frost mat or you die to me, who is holding the Frost mat. So I'll have to see what that will possibly bring here for round 9. For Oxygen, though, their lineup extremely straightforward. Foxay going to bring back the Ash and repping the set for his fallen ex-teammates.
So no direct contact between either team just yet. Oxygen still looking for a safe path to the inside, and they have found that over here. We'll enter through bedroom closet to take that initial control. Watching out, of course, for any roaming presence that might have been deployed down here from Astralis, but they're not going to get it. And Foxay, as well with this charge, could potentially reveal one player from above him. It's going to be a little off the mark, but now dropping in through the hatch. Oh my God, what just happened?
Who's behind him?
He accidentally took out Foxay while trying to dispatch a Forest, dropping down that hatch. Very unfortunate for Oxygen, and ultimately they end up in the very same place they started at the beginning of this play, as they're just going to be down to a 4v4. Moving in vertical, will take up Foxy's old position. Shuttle will be unable to catch him as he tries to go through this top-down angle. And on top of that, we're also going to see this breach start to be deploying towards Shuttle. We'll have to be cautious here, as that canister going to start to be a little more vulnerable now that the wall real estate will begin to be opened up as well by Dream.
Absolutely. Vertical just too good at the video game. He's not only has to take out the opponent, but his teammate, just to make sure things that are things are balanced. About halfway through this round now, though, as both these teams have slowed down just a little bit when it comes to the frag department. Still sending shots, but just nothing clicking. Still have to find some extra insight as to what's going on in this site. Dream's going to make some new angles just so it's harder to get into the actual office space. Some drones in now, and this will confirm that the area is clear, but that doesn't exactly mean that Oxygen's going to hop to anytime soon. That case is on Dream, so he'll continue to manage that window, but that also means that he needs to come in via that area or work his way around to the actual office breach. But as you can see, Astralis are playing for this, as they've more or less shifted everything to this central area around the dry bar and deeper into sight.
Iconic will continue to roam around, was mainly hunting over on the karaoke side to see if Oxygen would have gone for a bit more of a horizontal clear in order to get themselves better access to the site, but not what we ended up getting. And now both teams just seemingly stocked in their position here, not going to be able to have the confidence to move forward past what they've already controlled for themselves. J9O is unfortunately going to get hit by that flashbang as it goes right into his purview there, despite the magnet eating it up. Yours as well, waiting for the correct opportunity to swing himself up towards the top of the exhibition staircase. A drone will move it forward. There's his chance, saves a teammate's life potentially as well. Dream had just gone down. Still going to be a rough patch for Dream, though. Might not be able to bring him back up, but suddenly 2 kills come out of absolutely nowhere for Astralis Shuttle, as well as Iconic picking them both up here. Iconic still in the fight, also trying to keep it going as well. The shotgun pump from Shuttle knocks out Dream vertical with 1 exchange, but it is not enough. DP Fire moves right back in, finishes off the last member of OXG, and that'll be map point now set up for Astralis. They only need 1 more to lock in the 1-0 lead.
And it's like you said, Oxygen have to win the run back with something that's more basic. And unfortunately enough, it took the creative strategy in order to get the plant down for them to achieve success the last time. But this time around, Oxygen, they lose too many bodies, and a very unfortunate team kill at the beginning of the round more than likely could have changed their fate.
Astralis, well, they 1 out of these next 3 is all they need to control for themselves. And because they did 2 tries on the other site on the 2nd floor, they can go right back into karaoke and tea room. Already controlled that at the very beginning of this half, so things are looking bleak, to say the least, at the moment for Oxygen. Oxygen, however, do have a few tricks up their sleeve, most notably in the form of, again, they can bring the Osaw here. She's been very hard to deal with against these attacks. If they can get the appropriate amount of utility down onto the ground this time, that could be a staging ground that Astralis might not be able to fight back against. Will we see any switch-ups, though, to add on to that, such as what Astralis was doing and bringing the Montaigne with this? And in fact, it's like the Osaw is not even going to be in play. That's now been re-picked out by Foxay. They're going to go for a Jackal instead to try to lock down these more mobile members of Astralis inside of the early to mid-round. And I would agree with this decision. If they can get the advantage there where they've been struggling to do so, that'll make the attack onto the site a lot easier.
I think honestly, this isn't going to do exactly what Oxygen wanted to do. Yes, they can get the information, but a lot of that mid-round has been
been Astralis delaying with utility, and yeah, you might have the info on where they're standing, but does that mean that you want to push through a toxic smoke? I don't necessarily know. We'll have to see how this builds up here, as Oxygen don't have access to any shielders, and that's what we saw from Astralis time and time again on their offense to gather a lot of control. Oxygen, as John just said, switching over the OSA to a Jackal. So, we'll see what Foxy can achieve now, as he'll be starting things off over at ventilation units. A lot of Astralis footsteps are still upstairs, for a matter of fact, but as this timer gets lower, they will indeed start going away. They only stick around for about 1 minute and 30 seconds, so those prep phase footsteps will go away here at about a 2-minute mark.
Once again, much like quite a few of these past rounds, everything is going to go quiet while both teams desperately hunt for a player that they can abuse inside of this first 2 minutes. Heavy drone emphasis at the moment for Oxygen. 3 of them, in fact, sitting on them. Just Newers and Laxing actually on their players, working on clearing things out. They'll start to change up a little bit now as Foxy works his way in. We'll find out the position of a mute, but again, not really going to be able to do anything from that. Shuttle is long gone in the depths of the site, so that intel will be of very minimal use for Oxygen.
Yeah, a very strong change happened at Jackal a little while ago, where depending on how old the footsteps are, you get a certain amount of pings. So when they're green, I believe you only get 2 or necessarily 1. I believe it's 2 though. But either way, it's going to be less information than he used to get, and also it gives you less of a chance to try and pick up any of the defensive members when they are being pinged out. And I have some players on different angles here, as well as from underneath. Vertical will be tossing in a frag grenade. Doesn't achieve all that much, except making some new holes to play around. With 1 minute and 15 seconds, we're starting to reach a very similar circumstance to the last round.
We're hoping for someone on Astralis to be messing around with the stairs, but Astralis staying cool, calm, and collected, not moving an inch from their current positions closer to the site, potentially extended out a little bit from that. Members of Oxygen still hunting with nades, so you can see Vertical getting primed up for one right now, but no good intel. You can see that the comms are out, probably the drone in position upstairs that say this player's running around, and it still nearly catches DP fire. Very well placed by Vertical, but the follow-up is not going to be there. No good intel onto the position of DP fire, so he's going to be able to maintain. Gets himself out with another magnet there, too, to eat up any of the aggression that'll come in from Oxygen out on the balcony.
Oxygen want Astralis to peak so very badly right now, but they simply refuse. You have to push into us. We are not giving you this round for free. Skyscraper is ours, so come take it. Foxy will try and move up the stairwell. He's gunned down by Iconic, who's been lurking for forever. He's going to re-peek before he picks up Dream. It's a trade game back and forth. 3v3. Oxygen have to get a plant down, though. Where is it going to go? They're swinging back and forth. Have some good info, but they're going to lose yet another important gunfight. J9O guns down one, force with the other, and DP fire with the last round. Skyscraper is Astralis's. Astralis fans, stand up.
Inside of regulation as well, Astralis take a confident opening win to this series at 7-3, but it's not over just yet. We've got some of the most quintessential maps in North America. Oregon is on deck. Both these teams have played it so many times in the past few months, and now they'll have to face off against each other on it one final time to decide who can go on to the grand finals of a major to face off against another representative from their region waiting inside of it. It's going to be DarkZero on the other side, as they already carved their way forward to the final earlier today. We're going to go to a short break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, map number 2 is coming up between both of these teams.